Hi guys, this is Astrid Mueller. I'm illustrator and brand designer, and I'm passionate about helping women entrepreneurs and fashion startups succeed. I'm also independent accessory designer with my jewelry line Possibility, and I'm speaking to you today because I was invited by Stylin.co, a really cool online boutique for independent designers, to speak to you guys about branding. I'm going to be one of their designers on that platform, but they also run this weekly inspiration call for independent designers and other fashion industry insiders who want to learn about growing their business. So every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, they have this cool session where they talk about social media, about all kinds of cool topics that are very useful for you all. So today they invited me to talk about branding, to share some inspiration with you all to how you can use branding to succeed. So give me a second to switch over to my presentation and stay tuned for some kick butt inspiration for your brand. Okay, here we go. So today I have a really cool brainstorming session for you guys about branding, and it's going to be about brand communication ideas to help you lift your brand to the next level. I'm going to be talking about an introduction about what is branding, because that is a quite convoluted term and used in many ways. So let's get some clarity about that at first. And then I'll do a brand communication brainstorming for you guys and kick it off to inspire you all. And then if this seminar was live, we would have a Q&A. Unfortunately, we had technical difficulties, but I will give you my email address so you can email me personally with any branding question you will have. So let's get started. What is branding and why should you as fashion startup or as small business care? Well, branding is very convoluted. Some people may think it could be a logo. Other people may think, oh, it's a visual part of a company. Oh, or is it something that only big companies do? Something you need an agency for? Is it about creating a memorable product? Or something like marketing? All kinds of things out there that make it really confusing to understand what branding is. Let me try to explain. So here it is how I define it, and other people may use different definitions, but it's essentially the same thing. So I split up branding into three parts, three phases. The first phase I call clarity. The second phase I call creation. And the third phase I call communication. In the clarity phase, this is basically where you do the thinking part. It's all the invisible stuff. So you think about your vision as a business, like what do you want to accomplish, your passion, your mission, the special talent you have, the competition, how you set yourself apart, the best customers, strategy, all those things, like all these invisible things in the clarity phase is like where you really build the foundation and define all the details of where you want to go and what your brand is about. Once you have that clarity, you move on to the creation phase. This is where you hire a designer and they start creating the visuals, so the logo, a full visual identity design. You also think about the packaging design, making products, photography, writing text, essentially everything that you will later need to communicate. All these things have to be created, and I call that the creation phase. Then when you're ready with everything, you know what you are about, you have all your tools, then you can move to the communication. So here is where the marketing starts. You're making statements as a company or as a person behind the company. The customers start buying, they touch, they see your brands and your products. You're creating an experience. All those communication touch points with the customers, that's also part of branding. So all of these things together, that's the whole branding process from the beginning to the very end and into the future. All of this is part of branding. Let's put this in a visual context. Because as a designer, I think better when I have visuals, so I created an illustration for you guys to explain it in a different way too. So let's assume you have a business owner and a brand idea, but nobody knows yet what this company is about or what the person is about. So you begin with the clarity phase and define all these things as mentioned. You really think about the vision, passion, special talent, how you're different, all those clarity things. When you have that, you know where you're going. You know what your brand is about, what you want to do, and then you can go to the creation phase. So then you brief the designer, you get your visual identity, packaging, the materials, the products, photography, all those things that you will later need to sell your products and to connect with customers. Then, I want to mention in this part too, the creation phase, it's also important to personalize a brand. Why? Because people connect with people and not corporations. They want to know who is behind the brand, what your vision is, what your passion is, and what you're trying to accomplish. They love storytelling. You know, when you think about who you like to buy from, if you just look at corporations and they're very distant, we're not as attracted to such companies. We much rather buy from a company where we know who's behind them and what their story is, what they're trying to do. We prefer to, yeah, we can connect with companies like that a lot better. So personalizing the brand is very important. When you did all that, you created that and you personalized your brand, people will see not only the visual part like the logo here, but they will see who's behind the brand and they will see, oh, sorry about that, they will see what you stand for. So that's why I put the heart here. Then comes the communication part. You are ready to get out in the market. You're ready to make statements to stand out. You're ready to do your marketing activities, and the customers can buy your products, all those things in the communication phase. That's when you are there and people see who's behind the brand and who the brand is. So to explain that a little bit in two separate terms, you have the personal branding part. This great example here from Vogue, they're doing such a fantastic job with all of that. You clearly see who's behind the brand, and this person happens to be, Anna Wintour happens to be super iconic. Like everybody recognizes her for her haircut, for her eyeglasses, and she's famous for her statement necklaces and for her statements. And then you have the business branding. That's the whole visual with where you see the actual product, the photography, and all those things. So personal branding can really enhance business branding, or it can enhance a brand as a business because it makes it stronger. So why should you care about branding? Well, which business would you choose? This one, which is very undescribed and not clear, or this one? And what person would you rather work with? This one or this one? As you see, branding is essentially all about clarity. It helps you to follow a strategy and reach goals. It helps others to communicate your brand. It helps customers to notice your brand, to understand your brand, and to fall in love with your brand. Branding is not just for big brands. It's important for any business, and it can help you in any career. If people notice you and like what you do, they want to do business with you. Ta! Okay, so to recap, branding can be explained in three parts: in the clarity phase, the creation phase, and the communication phase. So now that we have an introduction in branding, I'm going to lead over to a brainstorming kickoff for you guys, and I will zoom in on the communication phase here. Brand communication brainstorming. So this is a kickoff to get your mind going, to help you find ideas that work best for your business with the highest benefit for your brand. and feasible to implement. And I'm inspiring you guys to brainstorm on the brand communication, because if you really optimize that and really think outside of the box and pick the best ideas that really work for you, you can really lift your brand to a next level, and you can connect better with customers. Your brand will have more meaning. You will get more sales because you're in the right communication channels, all kinds of benefits here. For the best brainstorming results, forget for a moment what everybody else does and what you have been doing. Think out of the box. Be innovative. That's what brainstorming is all about. So here's the first idea for you guys, and I'm going to have 10 ideas in total. And as I mentioned, these are just inspirations for you all. So take them as a first idea, but then think about your own business later on and brainstorm for your own business. Okay, so here's the first idea: the best sales channels. Brainstorm around that. And I'm suggesting that because here's an example of me as an independent designer with my jewelry line Possibility. As I was emerging designer at Phoenix Fashion Week last year in 2014, and I was as part of that program as emerging designer, they inspired us all to go out to Phoenix and to meet boutiques and to get our fashion and accessories into as many boutiques as possible. And that makes total sense and is a great approach, something that many companies in the fashion industry do, of course. But for me, it turned out actually not to be the best fit personally. It was one of the reasons was because my jewelry has a pretty low price point, and it just turned out to be a very big time effort to not only get into boutiques, but also staying in touch with the boutiques. For me, it just didn't add up because, if you think my rings start at $36, it's all handmade, and I have like $5, maybe $10 or something that can make a revenue off of a ring that I sell. So if I have to spend a lot of time chasing down boutique owners to kind of get phone appointments with, everybody's on a different schedule, and sometimes I had to call back several times, or I couldn't reach them at all. It was just too much time effort for me personally to make enough money effectively. So this is why I brought up this inspiration, so that you don't make the same mistake and waste time and money on sales channels that may not really be that good for your brand. So it's really worth it to sit down and brainstorm about that for a moment. So I recommend make a mind map and ask yourself, what sales channels are you using right now? What others could work, offline or online? So for instance, in the example of Stylin.co, they are an online boutique, and that actually works really well for me because they have a much lower margin that they take than brick and mortar boutiques, and they work with drop shipping, and this happens to be a company where we have a really good contact, and it's really easy to reach them, and I don't even have a big communication with them. So that's in my example, it works really well. So think also online boutiques. And then think, maybe events work for you, like existing events, or could you create new events with some other companies? I'm going to give you a few examples to kick off your ideas here. So for example, there's ideas like if you think about accessories, like my jewelry line, I ended up picking the concept of jewelry parties as one sales channel, kind of inspired by the Tupperware idea. I also did a girls' night out thing that was an existing event in Burbank, California, where a whole neighborhood was turned into a girls' night out sort of shopping experience, and I was able to piggyback and collaborate with the boutique there. So that also was very interesting, and I didn't have to do the whole marketing. So then there are independent designer market things, trunk shows. So brainstorm a little bit, like what events are out there that could be a great sort of context for your brand to jump into and to maybe team up with with other companies who are already doing those events. And I'm saying teaming up with existing events can be great because then you don't have to do the whole marketing. If you create a new event, it can also be great, but then you have the risk of doing the marketing. So brainstorm a little bit, like what kind of cool experiences could you create with events, and maybe that could work for a special sales channel for you. And then you can also think of like what kind of other companies, like maybe outside of your industry, there could be companies that are a good fit for your brand. For instance, if you have a very artistic sort of product or accessory or even fashion, it could be a great parallel to think about museums or art-related sort of events or exhibits or companies. So think about all kinds of things. That's the first brainstorming idea. Brand communication idea 2, special events. This is taking it a little bit further. So ask yourself, what kind of events may your customers really love? Other than selling, how could you benefit from doing such events? For instance, if you think about the Met Gala, that's for big brands, but that's a huge sort of benefit and exposure and great context for fashion brands to have this parallel to the art field. So maybe there is some kind of an event in your neighborhood or city, or maybe you could create some kind of event like that with somebody else to add that artistic feeling to your brand, if that works for you. And if art is not the best way, maybe there's another industry. Maybe architecture could be a great parallel. Think what kind of field and industry could be great to enhance your brand further. Another example, what I do with my jewelry line is I'm currently developing I'm developing passion events, kind of. So to explain this, my brand is all about possibility and believing in that if you dream big and work hard, anything is possible. And I'm actually really passionate about supporting women and girls to believe that and to follow their dreams and to go for it, So I'm currently developing a series of events that I call Celebrate Possibility events, where I am bringing together students and young entrepreneurial women to inspire each other and to kind of support each other and to do that kind of stuff. So this is not a direct selling thing, but it's communicating the brand passion and to actually living it and to enhancing the brand that way. And like when you create events like that can be great. Then you have photography that you can show on your website, you can blog about it, and you can communicate it, and you can connect with the customers that you are actually designing for anyway. So think, what kind of events could you create that could enhance your brand message and what you're trying to accomplish? Is there anything that you could do that would work for you? So then when you think, what kind of, you don't have to do everything yourself. So it's usually good, especially a startup and small business, you want to be very resourceful. So think, what kind of people or businesses could you team up with for maximum exposure and impact? That's an idea for you to brainstorm around. Let's go to the next one. Ambassador program. This is one that I really love. And it's also from my own experience as independent accessory designer. So I used to originally just have interns for my design business and for my jewelry, but I got inspired by some other companies out there who did ambassador programs, and I'm actually doing it so that I also have I work with students, but it's with a point system where they can contribute and help my brand and learn from me doing marketing activities. They connected me to fashion show producers, to local TV stations, and gave me exposure like that. So I got really lucky. It's also through Phoenix Fashion Week and the people that I met there that the ambassadors that I have in my program are super awesome people. They're very excited and inspired, and they love to learn, and they love to contribute. So this could be something that could help your brand as well, especially if you have to think resourceful. You know, this is something where everybody can benefit. You don't actually have to pay somebody. Like maybe you can make it part payment, or you can make it entirely based on what you are offering. So in my instance, I'm having a point system where I give them free jewelry depending on how much they accomplish, and they can also have buying benefits from me. So I don't have to pay any money up front, but I will give them a share of my of what I have anyway, you know, in my resources. So think about this, if that could work for you too, and if yes, in what ways could that work? What could ambassadors learn from you, and how could they help you? So think both sides, how it could be beneficial for everybody, and then think what people could become ambassadors. Brand communication idea 4: cross promoting. What type of businesses share great synergies with your business? That's a really good one to brainstorm about too. And here's an example for independent designers. If you're a fashion designer, it could be really cool for you to team up with an accessory designer, because then you can, it's such a great synergy. It's not direct competition, but you guys can, for instance, do photo shoots together. You could shoot for magazine coverage, you could sell together and cross sell. You know, there's so many opportunities, and you could support it. You could do special promotions, and opportunities are almost endless. You can mastermind with each other. So think about like what business you would love to work with, and in what ways could you cross promote or cross sell. Idea 5: photo shoot collaborations. This is a really cool example as well. And it kind of goes back to the last idea, but it's a specific example where if you team up with other people, you can create photo shoots for free if you're lucky. So this is something that I did also through my connections through Phoenix Fashion Week last year, and my awesome ambassador people. We were able to do several photo shoot collaborations already, where one of them was my fashion lookbook that I did, and we made it a huge collaboration with several independent designers actually. So I had like three independent designers from three emerging designers from Phoenix Fashion Week that donated their clothes to my photo shoot. I accessorized everything, and I had models that I knew from Phoenix Fashion Week. I had a local blogger, and we did. They found local makeup artists and everything, and it was a huge collaboration, and everybody did it for pro bono to build their own portfolio. I only had to pay just very little for a venue, and the rest was all promotional for everybody. So that was that was amazing, and a really great example of, if you think in everybody's benefit. How can you team up with other people and create something like that? Like, look for people who are still looking for exposure, and who like to do creative photo shoots, or who want to get magazine coverage. And yeah, think about collaborations like that. This can be a great brand communication sort of strategy, especially if you get people who are eager to spread the word online, and to give kudos back to everybody involved. So yeah, look for people who are great collaborators like that. So questions to ask yourself here is, what kind of businesses will benefit from doing photo shoots with your brand, and where you can find such people. So a lot of things can be, a lot of businesses like that can be found on Instagram. That can be really great. That's where I connected with stylists and photographers and even makeup artists. And when you see somebody who's amazing that you love on Instagram, you know, tell them and reach out to them and tell them if they want to collaborate. It's one of the best platforms that I found to really connect with people like that and to meet great people. Next idea. brand communication idea 6 that can also really help you um, connect to more customers, to get more exposure, to broaden your network, is creating wow. And what I mean by that is teaming up with somebody and create something amazing, something that people will really love to share and talk about, like an amazing fashion piece, you know. So here's an example. Yes, one designer from Phoenix Fashion Week was Clutch Crowns and Clutch Jewelry. Stacey Eden, she's really cool, and she creates these amazing wire construction crowns, and she ended up collaborating with Michael Costello on a fashion show in New York. And she told me that was a super cool experience for her, and of course it was amazing exposure and reference. And she learned a lot, and he was excited about it too, because it was a collaboration where he was able to give his own preferences into it. It was you know, when somebody works with you on something, they have their heart in it as well. So that makes it even more powerful to create something together like that. So think something outrageous you could do. Think who you'd love to work with. Who do you admire out there? Who really inspires you? And then maybe you can use Instagram as well to reach out to them and strike up a conversation. Yeah, so if you do that, you can get great photos eventually. You can do photo shoots. You can get press. It can go anywhere. You can end up on fashion runways. All kinds of possibilities in the air for that. So that's a great thing to brainstorm about. Idea 7, piggyback on holidays. This was one great inspiration I got from Brian Hill from Phoenix Fashion Week when I got a quiet moment to talk with him about marketing, and he briefed me a little bit about a marketing plan. He told me, okay, when you plan your marketing, sit down and look at the calendar and then write down all the holidays that really relate to your brand somehow. So for instance, in my case, Possibility Jewelry is very much for the modern heroine, as I call it, like power women who are um, you know, working hard, dreaming big, making things happen. So in my particular case, I was looking for holidays that would have been, you know, kind of very woman empowering things. And I put all those holidays in my calendar. And then I brainstormed, okay, so how could I create social media activities around that? Or how could I create events around that? Or you know, when you have that, those existing holidays that are already out there, you have the great situation that people are already aware of those things, and you can kind of jump in and use them to enhance your own brand communication and to give people something that they may already be looking for. So that's one of the inspirations. Then the idea 8, connections. So ask yourself about this one here. What personal connections do you have who always like to support you? And this is all about network building. When you start as independent designer and small business owner, you start from scratch, and it's hard. So the first people who usually start buying from you are your friends and your personal network, and we often forget all the people that we already know. So this brainstorming section here can really help you kickstart your brand communication possibilities, basically. So really think resourceful and make the most of your network, and use your network and also expand your network in the best way possible. This is what this brainstorming point is about. So questions to ask yourself here is the personal connections. Brainstorm around those and create a list of all of those. Maybe you have an Excel sheet already. Think, you know, not just your friends, but think your hobbies. Like, what clubs are you belonging to? Where do you hang out? Think former customers, former co-workers, and kind of like create your brainstorming bubbles and list those people. Then ask yourself, how could they help you spread the word? Ask what groups or associations could you join to make useful connections. And always think about your ideal customers too from your brand? Like where are parallels and where are the people that would be interested in supporting your brand? Last question here. What insiders could you connect with? So that what I mean by that is industry insiders that could be great, like maybe people that inspire you in the industry, excuse me, or people that have a great connections in the industry and you can learn from, or you could team up with, and you could benefit by working with them. So list all of those people, even super successful people. List anybody, and then write them down and have a wish list of people. You'll be surprised like how many people, even if they're very successful, like how many people will want to support you, as long as you think also in their term and in their benefit. It's not just about asking, it's always about giving, give and take. But if you approach people in a positive way and in a way where you're trying to help them as well and tell them what you're passionate about, what you're trying to make happen. A lot of women love to, women and men too, but especially women, there's a huge power in women support and women collaboration, as I found. So in case that is your motto and credo, that what you believe in as a brand, that could be one approach to find other power women who may like to support your brand too. Idea 9, power partners. And what I mean by that is if you really zoom in on what businesses you or people you could connect with to become power partners, that could be super beneficial for you. So here's an example for myself. So for instance, Stylin' You, this is a great example here. I'm invited to speak at Stylin' You this Monday call from Stylin' CO online boutique. I'm able to as my branding business, this is a great synergy for me to work with them, and we can kind of both help each other's business out, so they can benefit of my branding experience and I can benefit from the exposure. If you are as a jewelry company or as a independent designer company, you can also have synergy partners, other businesses who benefit by working with you. Think of what company you could team up with. If maybe you can sell together, or just like maybe you find an individual person who has a great business that you really want to team up with to do all kinds of things together. Maybe create events together, or you're going to do regular mastermind calls, things like that. So this also goes back to a little bit of examples that I had earlier. But for instance, I have one person that I really work closely with is Jacqueline Nicole. She's an emerging designer from Phoenix Fashion Week as well last year, and so she has this fashion line, and we are planning to do photo shoots together. We will do cross-selling, where we have photo shoots where we have her fashion and my accessories, and then those photos will go on her website and on my website, and every time we do that, we also kind of affiliate link to each other, so we cross-sell. She just she's working on another business right now where she will start a fashion boutique as well in St. Louis, and we'll collaborate there as well. So once you find people like that, there's often a lot of ways you can work together. So pick your favorite people, build your network, and think who you really would love to work with and where both of you guys would benefit. And think big. And when you have power partners like this, where you can regularly connect and collaborate somehow, you can really bring your brand out there much faster. Such power connections can really help you grow much faster and get a bigger exposure much faster. We can grow so much better if we collaborate. It's a huge one. Then the last one that I want to give you as inspiration is to dream big. And this kind of goes back to earlier points, but just ask yourself for a moment, if anything was possible, like really think outside of the box, whom would you really love to work with and how? And then go for it and connect with these people. And I have another example for you, which is from Instagram as well. So from my jewelry line, we blogged about this really cool makeup artist once, and it was together with one of my interns. This makeup artist is Yuko Takahashi from New York, and she does amazing things. She does makeup for Miss Universe, all the big pageants. She works with celebrities, and she's a really cool portfolio, and I just love her work. And so we blogged about her, and then I gave her some compliments on Instagram. Like, they were really sincere. I just love what she does. And in one of my comments, I texted her that, oh my gosh, big dream. It will be a dream for me to work with you one day. I just love everything you do. Let me know. And then one time she actually texted back to me, and I was like, almost fell off my chair. But I mean, she already had like 11,000 followers on Instagram, and she's really super successful already. But it turned out that we stayed in touch, like occasional Instagram here and there. And eventually, on a trip where I was visiting New York, she actually took the time to meet me and to have tea with me. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is incredible. I can't believe you're taking the time to sit together with me. And she told me that. Yeah, well, your comments, they really stood out to me because you were so excited, and she was just curious to meet this person behind these comments, and I was that was a huge learning experience for me to that anything is possible. Just go for it, dream big. If you're excited and love what other people do, tell them, and you never know where it's gonna lead. And with his makeup artist, actually, it led quite far. Like, first of all, I felt like I made a friend, and then she ended up super super sweet that she wanted to help me get my jewelry line out there, and she connected me to a video shoot of a pop star, and I was able to create jewelry for a pop star, and it's not released yet, but that was an amazing opportunity. And she got my one of my jewelry pieces onto some Miss Universe, and oh my goodness, like all kinds of amazing things can happen. So this is the inspiration for you. Just dream big and follow your passion, and write down who you'd love to work with, and then reach out to them. So that was idea 10 for you guys. Um, what now? So basically, take the brainstorming inspirations I gave you and sit down and do your own brainstorming with them. And really go crazy, think outside of the box, dare to dream big, and then pick the best ideas that work for you. So now, unfortunately, we had technical difficulties, so we couldn't do a live Q&A, but I'm giving you my email address, so you can email me here at astrid@astridmueller.com, any branding questions you may have. And also, as an apology for the technical difficulties we had, I'm giving you free goodies. Just email me, and I'll email you this free of charge. One is a checklist, how you can supercharge your brainstorming to help you really maximize your brainstorming session. You can get that. And then one document that some of you may already have gotten from me through my Startup Branding Insider, but if you haven't, it's a document that can help you clarify your brand. So just ask me about that, and I will email you that. Free goodies. And then I have something else that I'm offering, a special offer right now. If you want further help with brand communication, this is one of my strengths to think creatively, and I actually really thrive on this. So if you fill in the brand questionnaire that I give you for free, you can email that to me, and then I can sit down and think of really cool brand communication ideas for your business, and I can think outside of the box and basically do your brainstorming for you, or help you with the brainstorming. So I do this. Normally it costs much more, but giving you a super special here just for $100. I can do that if you email me before May 16, 2015. And then a power consulting call with any questions you may have, any length of call, doesn't matter, just for $50. So also if you email me before May 16. So this was my brand communication brainstorming session for you guys. It was I was invited by Styling You. Check out this amazing online boutique for sure. They're gonna launch very shortly, and they have a super cool concept, and their Monday calls are super useful. They had all kinds of really great ones already with social media and Instagram, how you use those things best, and check them out. They're on Pinterest and on their website too. Email Steve at StyleandCO. You see the email address right here if you want to get on the list and if you're not there yet. And if you have any branding questions or just want to say hi to me too, email me at astrid@astridmueller.com. So, and these are my main websites so that you can look up more from my things. And what I do is my main design website and branding consultancy is astridmueller.com. There I also have a free newsletter about branding and startup branding, which you should check out. You can sign up there. It doesn't cost anything. I don't directly sell anything. I do offer some things that you can buy, but it's totally free, and I give lots of free information there. If you just want to get that, it's totally fine. And then my independent jewelry line, that's possibilityjewelry.com, in case you're curious about that too. So now I wish you guys all much success with your own brands and have a great brainstorming session. And I hope that this call inspired you somehow. And again, if you have any questions, email me anytime. And I would love to connect with you, even just to say hi. So come check out my website and let's connect. And I hope to see you on my newsletter or wherever. But even if not, all the best to you, to your success. Bye.